Bonjour, je suis Michael. Alors, qu'est-ce qui c'est? 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 Ouh là là! 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 Break it down. Get funky. Put your hands up. Bring it back, come on, come on, come on, come on. Bring it down.
Rhythm. I love rhythm. I think it's very cool. Le rythme est très cool. When I was your age, growing up in Israel, I loved music. I played the trumpet when I was in school. But what I really want to play was a drum set. A nice, shiny, cool, loud drum set. But my parents wouldn't buy me one. And I couldn't stop my rhythm. So I had to improvise. I started listening to hip-hop music, mimicking the sounds with my voice. I was spitting everywhere. But even that wasn't enough. I started making a drum set out of my body. Now, it wasn't like I decided to do all those things. It was more like the rhythm that I felt inside, found its way out. First inside, deep with my heart, then out my mouth, following into my hands, my feet, and my body. So who here thinks they have good rhythm? Qui ici pense avoir un bon sens du rythme? Yes, very nice. Très bien. Can everybody put, please, their hand on their heart? And look for your heart. Cherche le cœur. Can you feel your heartbeat? This is rhythm. Oftentimes we hear these complex musical grooves like the ones I was just playing, and we think that the rhythm can be too complicated. But recognizing musical patterns is literally in our blood, and I think that everyone has a perfect sense of rhythm. After high school, I went to university to study engineering. But while in the middle of my first year studying, I auditioned for a very special theater and dance group called Mayumana, who puts rhythm as their main performance focus. And then something happened that changed my life. I actually got cast. Now, this made me very happy, but it also meant that I had to make a very difficult choice. Do I become an engineer or an artist? Well, I chose to follow my rhythm. So Mayumana was a perfect place for me to explore more beatbox and more body percussion. And it soon became my second home. Working hard and practicing almost every day, I learned a lot about theater, dance, and many, many other more rhythms. And yes, I finally got to play the drum. Traveling the world with the company, I was performing in different theaters all around the world, and this exposed me to many different cultures, each one with its unique style of music and rhythm. And I was so inspired and interested by all the stories that I've heard. Some were just fascinating. In Peru, for example, I learned that Spanish colonialists banned African slaves. So African slaves were banned to play their drums, and they had no choice but to use simple wooden boxes as drums. And this is how Afro-Peruvian percussion was born. The slaves couldn't stop their rhythm, so they had to improvise. And this instrument is called the cajon, and cajon literally means box or drawer. In Europe, I learned that tribes immigrated from Eastern Europe, gypsy tribes, all the way down to the south of Spain, bringing their culture with them, and they created a very special dance and music called flamenco. Now, flamenco has an unusual rhythm, and it's counted by measures of 12 dudes. And you start not with 1, but with 12. So, if we start, we start not with 1, but with 12. So it's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was pretty interesting. Now, 40 years ago, a very famous Spanish flamenco guitarist took the cajon from Peru and brought it to Spain. And today it has become an important part of Spanish flamenco music. So that same drum that the Spanish tried to ban and get rid of hundreds of years ago is inspiring Spanish music today. Now, one place that inspired me in particular was New York and the hip-hop scene there. This is the culture that I fell in love with as a kid, your age, growing up in Israel. Now, in the 1980s, there was a famous electronic device called the Beatbox that was mimicking the sounds of drums. But something very interesting happened when people started mimicking the sounds of the beatbox that was already mimicking the sounds of the drums. And it created a whole new phenomenon, which was live vocal hip-hop rhythms. And that's why it's called beatbox. So traveling from America to Israel, from Eastern Europe to the south of Spain, from Africa all the way to South America and back to Spain, I began to see the world not as a collection of countries or borders, but more like a map of musical rhythms. Throughout the years, I also began teaching rhythm, and I'll never forget an amazing workshop with a group of young deaf teenagers. And I was amazed to see how they could do body percussion and drum with no problem. Though they couldn't hear at all, they would feel the vibrations through the floor in their bodies. And this united them, that connected them with feelings of happiness and joy. But not everything in life is always full of joy. A few years ago, I lost both my parents to illness. I fell into a deep depression. I was heartbroken. I stopped performing and I stayed at home. My rhythm slowed down to almost nothing. For several months, I hardly went outside at all. And at one point, I even thought that would stay like that forever. But eventually, it was my art and my rhythm that helped me get through this difficult situation. And beatbox and body percussion slowly brought back that sense of joy that I remembered from when I was a kid. And this gave me hope and strength to move forward. And that's why I chose to perform these two particular styles with you guys today. So looking at the world through rhythm, I see how it changes reality. I see that it is in us and it connects us. Like a kid from Israel that's connected to American hip-hop, or a Spanish guitarist that's connected to a drum from Peru. We should all connect to our rhythm and let rhythm connect us all. Thank you. Away, 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 away. away, away, away. Okay? Tick, tick, tick. Tick, tick, tick. Away, 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 Sing, see, say, we. Woo! Merci beaucoup.
Ah oui.